Likely.
Steve Galvin.
So, Steve, you got long hair. I apologize.
I've heard it my whole life. I mean, really, it's no big deal. If you were elected governor...
I grew up in the era of long hair on men, so I'm really ashamed of myself. Go ahead.
Okay, if you were elected governor, and Senator Gelber is elected Florida's next Attorney General, and he advises you that maintaining a lawsuit against the federal government over health care reform is either a bad financial risk for our state or has become an unwinnable case, would you heed the legal advice of your successor and approve dismissing the case?
Well, first of all, to answer that question, the answer is no. As governor, I'd have the right to resume that case. He would have the right to try to get out of it. But as governor, I would proceed all the way to the United States Supreme Court. First of all, I am absolutely convinced it's unconstitutional. We've done the research. We know what we're talking about. It's a very bad law. It should be thrown out. It's wrong for a lot of other reasons besides constitutionality. It's going to break the piggy bank. Did you know what it does in addition to what I've described about Medicaid and the cost to our state? Ultimately, the federal government takes over all the terms of what are in a basic health insurance policy. The state can no longer decide what the mandates are. One of the reasons that health insurance costs so much right now is because there are about 50 mandates in the state. When Governor Bush was governor, I chaired what was known as Healthy Florida Foundation. It recommended a number of things, 100 people gathering and working on this for 5 weekend retreats that I chaired. And they recommended electronic medical records, best practices, putting PE back in the schools in a really meaningful way, which I strongly believe in my healthcare plan. We need to do real exercise, learning healthy habits, ending obesity. But the other one was, let's reduce those mandates, maybe down to 10 or 12, and let everybody choose the rest of them like a menu from maybe cable television. But we today are not, we have not done that as a state, and if this law remains there at the federal level, we never will be able to do that. And it will therefore make it meaningless where other states have done it, because the federal government will decide what all is in the, what all mandates are there by regulation. It'll mean you're no longer going to have the McCain idea of let's let the states buy insurance across, let people, individuals buy insurance across state lines so they get the better bargain. There'll be no creativity left, and the marketplace will shrink up. And I'm convinced because of all of this that we will ultimately wind up with rationing of care if this bill becomes law and stays there for its duration. Then we'll ration care, especially for seniors, by government instead of by families where those decisions should be made. And then we'll wind up with a lot fewer doctors in Florida. They're going to leave because we're a heavy Medicare, Medicaid state, and they're not going to get compensated because we can't afford to pay them. And then in addition to that, we're going to have this huge problem with young people who are going to have to pay a lot more for their insurance than they otherwise would. I'm going to come back over.